This video, I'll be showing you all how you can connect your AI chatbots which you've built on Agentive and then deploy it on your Messenger account using make.com. Now for this, we will need an Agentive account, of course, where you will be building our AI chatbots. And after that, we will need a Facebook page, or you can also work with a personal account as well. I've tried testing it out with a personal account on Facebook and it works just fine. But I'd rather suggest you open a Facebook page if you want to sell it to businesses, because it gives you a business profile, of course. So yeah, after that we're gonna need a Meta Ads developer account. This is to help us create a custom app that will help us connect with make.com so that we can actually send and receive messages from Agentive to Messenger using make.com, right? And after that we're gonna need a make.com scenario to run in the backend and Google Sheets for tracking the session IDs. Now this might sound a little bit complicated at the beginning, but once we move on step by step, it's going to get a lot easier. And this process takes a little bit of time to set up, but once you set this up completely, it runs very well and you can easily interact with your AI chatbot from your Messenger account. All right. And by the way, this process is completely free. Only a subscription you need is an OpenAI account. So yeah, just bring up a billing system on your OpenAI account, and you're good to go. And you can of course access all the files in the description down below. I'll be providing all the templates, all the files that I'll be using in this video in the templates absolutely for free. So that you can set this up within just a couple of minutes. So without further ado, let's get started. Now I'm just gonna explain the entire process of how it's gonna work out. So this is how the make scenario looks like. I'm just gonna give you a glimpse of it, and in the later part of the video, I'll be building this out step by step, so that you guys can do the same thing. All right. So this is where the message will come in, and after that, we're gonna create a new thread. If you're sending a message for the first time, it's going to create a new thread, and after that, when you keep on when you keep on sending the message on the same chat, on the same conversation, then it's going to go through the second route over and over again. This scenario might look a bit tricky to understand, but I'm gonna explain to you guys step by step within the next couple of minutes. All right. Now let's just head over to the Miro board. So what basically happens is, when we basically send a message on our Messenger account, it's going to trigger the webhook on the make.com scenario, which is basically it's going to trigger this watch messages module. So whenever we send a message, it's going to trigger the webhook on make.com scenario, and then it's going to send the message to our Agentive chatbot, which we have built on Agentive. So whatever chatbot you've built on Agentive, we're gonna connect this using the API key and the assistant ID provided over there, and we're gonna connect this to Agentive. So after the make.com scenario, it's going to send the message to Agentive, and then Agentive is going to give out a response, and then the response will be sent out to the Messenger account, and then we will receive the message on our Messenger account. All right. Now without further ado, let's get started. So firstly, I assume that you already have created an Agentive account and you've set up your chatbot and you want to deploy it on your Messenger account. If not, you can just simply create a chatbot on your own. It's quite easy to set up a chatbot. And after that, when you're ready to deploy, secondly, you need a Facebook page or a personal account, like I said. So once you've created a Facebook page, we can then move over to Meta Ads developer account. Okay, so let's just head over to Google and search Meta Ads developer and head over to this website. All right, so if you're opening this website for the very first time, then you're gonna see a get started or a sign up option over here. Now, as I've already logged in into my website, I'm seeing this my apps option. But if you're entering this website for the first time, you're gonna have to sign up for your developer account. And after signing up for a developer account, it's going to take you 2 or 3 minutes to set it up. It's quite easy to set up. It's not a big deal. Just go through the process step by step. And then once you're done setting up your developer account, you're going to see a dashboard like this one. All right. Now, after you've entered your dashboard, you're going to see this create app option. So we're going to click over this button. And after that, we're gonna have to create our custom app, which will help us connect with make.com, because Facebook does not provide all the access we need to efficiently connect with make.com and deploy our messenger bots. All right. Anyway, so let's as I've already created in my Facebook page named XLA, I'm just gonna connect this one. You can also see your Facebook page over here. So yeah, I'm just gonna click on next, and after that I'm gonna head over to others, click on next, And after that, I'm gonna go for business. Click on next, and then all right, I'm just gonna give it a name just for easier access. Agentive with Messenger integration. I'm just giving it a name. All right, let's create an app. All right, so now I'm gonna put my password over here. So I'm just definitely gonna cut this in out. So after you've entered your password, you're gonna see this page. So this is where we can actually create our custom app. Now, as we're gonna be deploying this on our Messenger account, we're gonna click on Setup over here, and then this will take us to another page, and this is where we will be configuring everything. All right. Now, before we get started, I just want to create a new scenario on make.com. So head over to make.com, and let's just create another scenario. Alright, so after I've created a scenario, I'm gonna head over to the Messenger module. Let's head over to Facebook Messenger, then click on Watch Messages, because this is the module we're gonna be using to trigger our Messenger connection. I'm just gonna add a new connection over here. So let's just say my Facebook Messenger Agentive webhook or some. Alright, let's just give it Agentive connection. I'm just gonna give it a token. So let's just say KCP123. Just give it a random token, and we'll be using this very soon. You'll see. Okay, so now once we've set this up, let's head over to our Facebook page. Now we'll be configuring our webhook over here. So let's click head over to configure. Now we're gonna have to copy the webhook we've just created. So let's just copy this one. Click on OK, and then head back, paste the webhook over here, and after that I'm gonna be pasting the uh, I think it was KCP123 KCP123 if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so verify and save. I just basically put my token which I've used on make.com and put it over here. So verify and save. Okay, so now our custom webhook is set up. This will help us to send and receive messages from our Facebook to make.com, right? So now we have to set up our webhook fields. Basically, just set up the scopes. If you're familiar with APIs, then you'll know what scopes are. This is what helps us to give certain permissions for sending information. All right. So now, as we actually want to send messages and receive messages only, we're gonna have to use the message scope over here. So let's head over to messages. It's gonna be somewhere over here. Yeah, now let's click on subscribe. We're gonna only need this scope only. This is a very important uh, feature actually, so just make sure that you put on the right scopes, and the only scope we'll be needing for this video is the messages scope. So yeah, now let's click on cancel. As you guys can see, it's all set up. Now we're gonna have to generate an access token. All right, we can click on connect. Alright, so after you click on connect, you'll be able to see your Facebook pages over here. So I'm gonna choose my one, XLAI, and then click on continue. Click on save. Let's just remove this. Click on save. So after that, we're gonna have to click on generate over here. So let's just click on generate, and then click on I understand. So now basically it's gonna give us an API key or something. I'm just gonna have to copy this one, and then click on done, and then we'll be using this token later on in this video. So yeah, now our custom app on Facebook is almost set up, but we have one more step to go. As you guys can see, if I click on live over here, it'll ask me to provide a privacy policy URL. So basically terms and agreements sort of thing. So we'll have to head over to basic settings, and you can actually create a privacy policy URL using ChatGPT. I've already created one. It's a very basic thing. So yeah, but this works just fine. So what you'll have to do is once you just create a document, just paste your privacy policy document over here. Now I'm just gonna have to copy the link of the document and then paste it over there. So let's just head over to share. I'm just gonna copy this link. copy link, done, and then I'm gonna put it in my Facebook account. So where's the, oh yeah, so as you guys can see, there's a privacy policy URL over here. I'm gonna click on, I'm just gonna paste this over here, and once I click on save changes, it's good to go. Now if I click on live, our Facebook application will be officially live, I believe, if everything goes well. So yeah, here we go. Now we can successfully connect our Agentive with make.com. Now we just have to set up the scenario step by step. Now I could actually give out the scenario. You can just simply import it and just use it yourself. But I think it's better if I just explain you the process step by step. Alright, so before we get started with our make.com scenario, we will have to create a Google Sheets page. So head over to Google Sheets. Now you'll have to set up two headers. One is sender ID, another one is session ID. This Google Sheets page will only be used to track the information that will be sent from using the make.com scenarios. All right. So let me just explain something over here. I'm gonna head over to the Miro board. I'm just gonna be explaining you guys how threads actually work. All right. So basically, whenever we send out a new message, so whether it be a normal gp or whether it be a normal chat gpt or a custom gpt, a new thread has been created. All right, a new thread always gets created whenever we send out a new message. So for example, when we send out a new user prompt to a new chat, a new thread, a session id will be created. So the session id, for example, it's 1 2 3 4 5 6. All right, so this is the session id. So now once we send out the same message to the same chat, so send another message or a user prompt to the same conversation, it's going to be get sent out to the same session ID, right? So this helps us actually help track of the keep track of the entire conversation. So if I head over here, as you guys can see, it's basically normal chat GPT, and I'm just explaining the memory stuff. I can actually how it works using threads. So hello, how's it going? What are webhooks? I'm just I just asked it information, and then I asked it what was my last question. As you guys can see, it was able to successfully retrieve the question which I just asked, and this is because it basically keeps track of the session ID. So whenever we create a new chat, a new session ID will be created, and this basically helps us stay in the same conversation without losing any memory. And this is very important. So we will be using Google Sheets to keep track of our session IDs. So for example, if you send a message to your messenger account using multiple devices, then it's going to be multiple sender IDs and multiple session IDs. So we have to make sure that we stay on the same conversation instead of creating new threads over and over again. I hope this all of this makes sense. So as you guys can see, we're going to be building this scenario step by step. But whenever we send out a new message, it's going to create a new thread, right? So for creating a new thread, we have to go through this once only, and that is only when we start give the message for the first time to the messenger to the custom GPT. So whenever we send the message for the first time, it's going to take this route, and then after that, it's going to keep on taking this route, the second route, over and over again, right? So now let's head over to our messenger account, sorry, thread list. So now you'll have to set up sender ID and session ID. Back to our scenario. Now we're gonna have to add a Google Sheets search row module. So this will actually search the rows from the sender IDs and the session IDs. So let's click on search rows, and then connect the Google Sheets which you've just created, which will contain the sender ID and session ID. Once again, I'm saying this again, this will basically be used to track the data, track the session IDs and the sender IDs, so that we make sure that we do not create new threads over and over again, right? Now I'm gonna connect the Google Sheets and then select the sheet name, and then now this in this filter I'll be connecting the sender ID with the sender ID from over here. Sender ID is basically when you send a message, you a sender ID is automatically gets created from your messenger. So we're gonna connect this sender ID with the Google Sheets header. So we make sure that the conversation is happening between the same sender. All right, and after that, I'm just simply gonna copy this module. I'm gonna paste this over here. If I keep on doing this step by step, it's gonna take a while. So I'm just gonna explain the process, copy the modules and paste it over here. And I'm gonna explain the process over here. Okay, so now you can actually copy the system prompt over here. I'm just gonna connect the session ID over here. So put the session ID over here, which we get from this Google Sheets module. So just connect the session ID with the sender ID. Now, so you guys can go through the prompt by yourself, but let me just explain in short what's happening over here. So basically, it's going to check that if a sender ID already exists or not. If the sender ID does not exist, then it's going to head over to the first route, which will create a new thread. Or if the sender ID or if the session ID already exists, then it's going to identify that and it's going to make sure that we go through this route. All right. So if the sender ID does not, if the session ID already exists, take this route. And if the session ID does not exist, it's going to take this route. All right. So yeah. Now let's back to the scenario, and now I'm just gonna connect this with the router, and then flow control router. Now I'm going to create a new thread over here. Now as you guys can see, there is a shortcut which you guys can use to create HTTP modules real quick, and I'm gonna show you guys that in this video. Alright, so head over to ChatGPT, and then there is a custom GPT made by Janice. Janice Moore is an AI agency content creator. So he has created this module which helps you to actually put out the curl information, and then it's going to give out an HTTP module by its own. Let me just show you how this works. So now let's finally head over to our Agentive, and so suppose I want to deploy this chatbot. I'm gonna click on edit over here, and then click on, let's just get rid of this, deploy. Head over to custom code, click on Python. Now I'm gonna use this curl code over here. So basically, as you guys can see, there are two parts of this. One is for creating a new chat session, which is a new thread, and the one is for sending a message to the chat session, just like I explained earlier. So I'm gonna copy this one, this entire curl code, and then I'm going to paste this over here. Right. So once I paste this over here, it's going to give me an HTTP module JSON code. So if I give it a name, I'm just gonna give it the name, let's say new thread, new thread. Now as you guys can see, it's giving me a JSON formatted code, and after the code is finished, I'm just simply going to copy it and paste it on make.com, and then it's going to give me an HTTP module. Okay, so now I'm simply going to copy this code, and then I'm going to head over to my scenario, and I'm simply going to paste this over here. Now, as you guys can see, I have a fresh new HTML module just like this. So this is basically, I just copied the code from ChatGPT, which I just got, and then I've just pasted it here. So I know this is really cool, and yeah, I would like to give huge credit to Janice for creating this custom GPT. This is really helpful when you're trying to create new HTTP modules based on curl information. So yeah, okay. So now that we have set up a new thread, now we're gonna have to connect another Google Sheets, and we're gonna have to add a row which will actually add the session ID over here. Basically going to add both the sender ID and session ID over here. So let's just copy this module. I'm just trying to keep this tutorial as short as possible, but also as effective as I can. So yeah. Anyways, now, as you guys can see, the thread list has already been connected, and the sender ID is already connected, and the session ID will be created after we have connected this. So let me just run this module once, and once again, let me just show you how this actually works. So as you guys can see, this is my API key for the assistant. So this is the API key, and this is the assistant ID. All right. So it starts with DAE. Now let's head over to Agentive and let's just see if it's all right or not. Yeah, as you guys can see, it's DAE. It's basically the same assistant ID and the API key. Alright, so I just paste it over into the ChatGPT module. It gave me the HTTP module code, and then I head over to make.com, and it gave me this HTTP module right away. And this is really, really effective. Okay, so now I'm gonna click on OK. I'm gonna run this module once just to get the session ID. And as you guys can see, if I click on data, I'm getting the session ID right over here, right? So I'm just gonna simply add this session ID over here. Just get rid of this and then click on the session ID, and boom, there we go. Now we have one more step left, two more steps left for this route. So let's head over. Now we're going to copy the kernel code for this one. So this is basically going to help us send messages over and over again just to continue the conversation. So I'm going to head over to the same custom GPT, and then I'm going to paste this one again, and then it's going to give me another code. which I'll simply copy just like I did with this one. All right. Okay, so I'll just give it a name, send messages. So now I'm simply going to copy this code over here and then paste it over here, and boom, there we go. We have the send messages module over here. I'm just going to rename this properly. It was just a typo on my chat GPT site. So yeah, nice. Now I'm simply going to connect this with my messenger. It's best if I just copy this and paste it over here. Okay, so copy this module and then paste it over here. And now for this messenger module, so as you're creating this for the first time, you're gonna have to create a new connection, of course. So I'm just give it a name, my messenger connection, and then that this access token that you guys are looking for, so this will be over here, which we've seen quite a while ago. So we're gonna have to click on generate. Okay, so it's a new one. I think we've already generated before, but let's just copy this, and we're gonna be copying this access token, and then we have to paste this over here. So once we paste this over here, we can connect this now. Right now, we have to connect the sender ID. Of course, the sender ID is basically from this module, from the very first module. So yeah, and then we'll have to send the data.content, and this will be basically the text which we will receive from this module. We continue, we have to make some changes to this module also. So as you guys can see, we have the API key, the session ID, all right, but we, as you guys can see, the value over here, the session ID, we have to replace this with the actual session ID, which we will get from the Google Sheets. So let's just click on this one, the session ID. We're just making sure we're connecting the session ID properly, and instead of content say hello, we're gonna have to connect the message over here, right? So let's just, in this content, we'll have to place the messenger module message, so which was the text over here. So basically the text which was sent from our messenger account, it will be placed over here, and then we'll have to click on OK. So as you guys can see, this is the data.content, and it's showing some sort of error because it's not getting the data properly. So what you're gonna have to do is basically run this module first. Just give it a session ID, maybe a random one, and then once you get the output, you're gonna have to use this content, which is basically the response from our Agentive, and paste it over here. Okay, so I'm just gonna head over to this, click on text, and this will be the response from messenger. So click on context over here. Now currently this is showing an error because we haven't created the thread, we haven't run the entire scenario properly, that's why it's showing an error, but that's not a big deal. It'll run properly once we've set up the entire scenario. All right, now let's move on to the second thread. So as you guys can see, we have only two more steps left to go. So basically we're gonna have to copy this one, which is the send messages part. So just clone this one, put it over here, get rid of this one. This will basically keep on sending the messages over and over again, and after that also copy this module and then place it over here. Now we're gonna have to add some filters. So let's just say first run, and condition is basically, so whenever it's running for the first time, we're gonna have to assume that a chat has not been created yet, right? So for example, the session ID has not been created yet, so it basically does not exist. So we're gonna have to click on OK to set up the filter. And the chat gpt also is the chat gpt module over here is also acting as the filter over here. So yeah, it's just for an extra security, something like that. So, and we can just label this as continue chat or something. So like continue chat, as this will keep on going this route over and over again for every text messages for the rest of the conversation. Now let's just say session ID exists. Okay, so it's showing an error over here also. So we're gonna have to do the same thing we did previously. So just run this module once, and Just place it over here. Place the data.content over here. Click on OK, and boom, our messenger scenario, uh, our make.com scenario is now properly set up. I think it will run properly. Okay, so now our make.com scenario is finally completed. But before we start testing it out on Messenger, I'd like to make some changes. I think I've missed out something over here, so I'd like to fix it out for you guys. All right. So once you head over to the Facebook app development page, head over to the let's just delete this first. Okay. So okay, so I'm going to first add a page over here. Basically, I'm just going to connect my Facebook page again, and then I have to set something up which I've missed before. So click on got it, and then once it's done, uh, as you guys can see, there is a messages field over here which you have to set up. So just you guys will see an add subscription field over here. So just click on the add subscription field and make sure that you select messages over here. So this will enable you to send and receive messages via make.com from Messenger. All right. So after that, let's just generate the API key. Let's just generate the token one more time, and we'll just paste this on our Messenger last time for the final time, and then we're good to go. So let's just head over to this module again. Now I'm just going to give it another name. So final, this let's just give it a random name, and then I'm going to just paste the token over here which I've just copied. I'm just gonna do the same thing over here. So yeah, let's just select this final run, click on OK, and everything is now perfectly set up. I think it will run properly now. So if I head over to my Facebook page, and then if I write a message, so by the way, it's connected with my this Agentive account, this Agentive chatbot. So it's basically a dental clinic chatbot which I've recently built. It's basically a lead qualifier and an appointment booking chatbot. So I have connected my API key and my assistant ID on this HTTP module, as you guys saw previously. So yeah, let's just give it a message and just try this out, see if it works or not. I'm just gonna write hi. Now, if you guys head over to make.com, you're gonna see that it's running on the back end properly as we just expected. So yeah, as it's running for the first time, it's going to head over and to the first root, and then it's going to create a new thread, add a row to Google Sheets session ID, and we're gonna respond, get the response over here. Hello, how can I assist you today? Uh, let's just ask it, where are you guys located? Or I want to book an appointment. Let's just say I want to book an appointment. And now if we head over to the make.com scenario again, you're gonna see that it's taking the second route now. So yeah, and if we head over to the Google Sheets, you'll see that it has actually tracked the sender ID and this the session ID also. Now this is actually important because we want to make sure that we are actually texting on the same conversation over and over again, because if we keep on creating the session ID over and over again, it's going to keep on creating new threads, and hence it will not be able to recall the previous conversation. So which is very important, right? So if you actually send it over from a new account, so for example, this is my account that you guys are saying, but if we actually send it out from a new account, then it's going to send out a new sender ID over here, and then a new session ID will be created, and then the conversation will keep on going on again and again. I'm just gonna test it one more time. My name is Manzarul, and yeah, as you guys can see, it's gonna take this route over again. So yeah, guys, this is it, and there we go. All right, so I'm back. My There was a problem with my Loom application. That's why my camera disappeared. Anyways, I really hope you guys found this video valuable. The main goal of this video was to help you guys connect Agentive with Messenger using make.com. There is a tutorial on their Agentive account which helps you to connect Agentive with Messenger using Zapier. But as a lot of people use make.com, that's why I thought of making this video. And I'm not a big fan of Zapier either, so I just wanted to make you a video of it showing you guys how this works. And it, honestly, not gonna lie, did take me pretty much of a lot of time to figure this out. So yeah, this is the whole board. I'll be sharing this board with you guys if you guys just want to understand the process of how it works, and you can watch this video to step by step to make sure you connect everything properly. It does take up a little bit of time, but once you set this up, it runs pretty well. Anyways, guys, I hope you found this video valuable, and if you did, smash the like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you are interested in AI and automations, then you might want to hit the subscribe button because I'll be uploading lots of content from now on. So yeah, guys, take care and see you in the next one. See ya.